before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order. Where the rule of law governs the conduct of nations.
It took centuries to build.
I have in my possession a secret map made in Germany by Hitler's government, by the planners of the New World Order.
And by that time, we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. It describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years. 7 countries in 5 years.
All right, yo, what's up, everybody? Before I get this started, it's a late night stream. I'm gonna see how I sound real quick. Let's see, testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I sound pretty all right. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another, early morning stream. Jesus. 1:25 a.m. What's up? If anybody's tuning in later, this is the Sacramento Truth Movement. Thank you for joining. I don't know if I'm going to have this as open panel because I don't want to be up until like 4 a.m. having people, argue. But, nevertheless, welcome back. This is 2 Liter J. I'm back on here. I just want to discuss a few things that's been on my mind the last hour, so if you haven't tuned in, I'm back to streaming. I'm going to try to make this a repetitive thing, more or less, over and over again. I did a stream last night called We Are Going Live, Red Alert, Open Panel, and Q&A, real Christmas stream. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. But, before I start, getting into, the topics that, I'm going to discuss, I had a conversation with over on Discord with Defender of the Truth, and I was telling him way before today or yesterday, Jesus, because it's 1 a.m. Where before 9/11 would happen, that there would be some kind of event to move along into the new day. Because if we noticed yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days ago now. There we go. Jesus, Charlie Kirk, died. And then before that, there was some kind of shooting, and then Israel bombed one of their Arab ally countries, and now there's threats of war between all these what are perceivable allies. So that's what kind of hits the cake right there, is that uh, there's no longer Iran versus Israel. It's now Qatar and Saudi Arabia versus Israel. But shit looks like it's hitting the fan. We had a few weeks where it was a stalemate, the calm before the storm, as Trump would say. And now is the time that once again, in the 2 weeks and nothing really happening, maybe one event is starting to pick up once again. And I just wanted to come on here, my mind and explore a little bit of what I've been processing mentally, so to say. So where would I get started with this? For the title right here, just to say I am not bought and paid for. It's more of a let me share my screen. It is more of a joke, bought and paid for. So if you haven't seen yesterday, I responded. Richie from Boston responded to one of my comments. So yeah, there I am right there. I asked him for I think the 5th time now if he's Jewish, and once again, he has caught radar of me. I have entered his foresight, and he has me as a target. So now he's threatening me. So see you soon. And he made a statement right here, just to Yes, I actually did. Yes, I did put his grandmother's obituary in one of my videos, and this is the said video right here. There's Richie. There's his Jewish family interfaith, and here's his grandmother. You see that right there, obituary, the Salem News. And there's a picture of a little witch. Yeah, yeah, that's great for a morgue or whatever you put this on obituary site. Dorothy J. Comito. That's a good Jewish name, at any rate. But yes, so if anybody was wondering, that is the relevance to Richie from Boston in the uh, video stream title. But going back to recent news, with the death of Charlie Kirk to be awarded Presidential Medal of Freedom on the day before 9/11. Authorities released new video of the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Of course, I'm not going to play that because YouTube is very sensitive regarding this kind of information. So, this is supposedly the suspect at large. So that old man that, you seen possibly, what they said was a shooter was just probably some old man, you know. But if anybody doesn't know who Charlie Kirk is, he's one of those right wing Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens type of influencers, former, I believe, Fox News people, but I could be wrong there. Breaking, authorities shared new video of the person of interest in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But, Charlie Kirk's casket is carried off Air Force Two after the plane lands in Arizona. So, he's being treated as some kind of like war veteran. Authorities in Utah released additional images of the person in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk. The Utah Department of Public Safety urges anyone with any tips to contact the FBI. As we can see, this man, he clearly has the tribal features. You know what I'm referring to. So, Charlie Kirk blasted away, died on probably impact. But see, now it's not just Charlie Kirk that has been assassinated, so to say, with recent what you would call gun violence or shootings. There's as of lately, one of them hit the news with the Catholic school and the trans dude. There's a few of them. That like it's like rampant across the country. There's like small shootings, but if you like look up the major news outlets right now, it's like they're reporting on it, but the coverage isn't very widespread. So we have the Charlie Kirk incident while he's speaking about gang violence with gun violence, and Charlie Kirk shot dead. Evergreen High School shooter identified by authorities. Colorado, so like Denver area high school. A false report of a shooter prompts a shooting at the U.S. Naval Academy. That's the Evergreen one. Police arrest 4 people after shooting of the Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard. Suspects surrender after standoff shooting in Puyallup, whatever that's like at. Shooter didn't trip alarm on red flag laws created to detect at-risk individuals. Austin police canceled a shelter-in-place ordered while a shooter was on the loose. Update: man charged with murder, attempted murder following Cedar Rapids shooting. New church man behind bars for Wednesday's night shooting charged with murder. And I mean, like, you can like still go on regarding, the shootings that we have, taken place, that we see readily available all across the United States. So clearly there's some kind of, I don't know if anybody else sees it, but it seems like there's a play at hand right now, some kind of agenda to bring in, gun laws and guns restrictions. So eventually when, let's go here. Let's see. Where's it at? Right here. So when Trump starts sending all the National Guard to all the ghetto fabulous cities across the United States, it won't be too long before, they're rolling up in, non ghetto fabulous cities in America, if you understand what I'm saying. And, it's going to be a siege. They're going to take people's firearms away, and they're not going to they're going to be having so much restriction. They're going to be instituting laws that would probably go against what we would have on what we would call the Constitution. Let me check the chat. I've seen people joining. Sup Jay, good morning. Carpus surnamed Israel. Yo Jay, check something out I tagged you in. What up, everyone? Negasonic, middle age, dickhead. What's cracking, everybody? What's bracking? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? But getting back to this, and so Charlie Kirk is the fall guy. Like this was probably planned. Possibly orchestrated, maybe, but I've seen people on, Twitter and Instagram saying that this is possibly AI and it doesn't look real and his ring doesn't match his ring finger. Then the ring appears on his middle finger. I really don't know. I just think it's all bogus, but this is the man that was supposed to go down with the plan. And we've seen this many different times. This is not the new issue of the line of where, we see fall guys in play. But it's just crazy that it was an individual such as his stature. Because we'll never see Ben Shapiro go down, Like, oh, no, Ben Shapiro doesn't say shit similar to this guy at all. Everything's woke, anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, homosexuality, right-wing based, semi-based stuff, but not too extreme where, they'll call you a neo-Nazi. But this guy right here, he's kind of switched up lately. Like, read this. Charlie Kirk, September 1st, 2023. So this is a while ago. So he's been questioning this for a while, but he's still an avid supporter of, Zionism and Jayism and Talmudism, and 11. That's funny. But Charlie Kirk, he was confronted by, I believe, some dude. I forgot the guy who it was, but you can find it easily on like Twitter or YouTube, where they asked him a question regarding the USS Liberty, and our boy Charlie here labeled it as a conspiracy theory to funnel anti-Semitic rhetoric. But right here, I love the Jewish people. I love Israel. I do not love the ADL. I believe in the First Amendment, so I don't want to ban anyone's speech. But if I was going to start somewhere, it would be to ban hashtag ban the ADL, which has no place extorting X, Twitter, and other social media companies are dictating federal law enforcement what is and what is not hate speech. And just about 2 weeks ago, he said this right here.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that.
Hold on.
But it is true.
I thought I could make that larger.
Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. In fact, we have seen this with the recent retreat of Jewish donations that are no longer going to be administered to colleges, right? Mark Rowan, Leon Kaufman. Can we get that full list? It's very powerful. The part of the so that's really true. And by the way, Tucker Carlson reinforces this. So I'm going to kind of it was on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. We said this, by the way, last week, and people came after us. We actually said it in a different way. We said, I'm glad that Jewish Americans are reconsidering their financing of cultural Marxism. And people misunderstood it intentionally and slandered us as being anti-Semites. But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
All right, so what we have here is probably the most based thing you'll ever hear Charlie Kirk say. There may be possibly a few other ones, but, you know, pretty much off the bat, that is probably the most based thing you'll ever hear him say. But in truth, in reality, there is a cultural Marxist regime here in America. They have been funneling communistic principles and ideals here in America in the blind eye. Nobody has said anything. And if you do say anything, you get labeled as an anti-you-know-what. But in truth, you know, we've seen Trump talk about it with like George Soros. But I mean, really, that's pretty much the only person that he, you know, he'll ever talk about. Then, you know, along the same lines, he'll, you know, praise Henry Kissinger. But in the large gist, and the reality is that there is a communist, Marxist, far left socialist regime here in the United States. And we need to get down to the root and the nit and gritty of the core of what we're seeing, because these principles, such as the critical race theory and the wokeism within America, if you watch some of these like gaming streams, like I've been watching, like, what's his name? The dude that beefed with let me see what his name is. I forgot his name. But there's a channel that I watch called Yellow Flash. Asmongold, that's the guy I'm thinking of. But like Yellow Flash, Asmongold, and many of these other dudes that fall in that that influencer right wing, talking about game type of politics semi. And if you watch them, there's another guy that I like. His name's Synthetic Man. I like that guy. But there's another guy that I did watch, Andy Pants Gaming, but I think he's a shill. I think he's some kind of like bought and paid for elitist. But if you watch these people and the way that they present their videos, they have been covering this like woke agenda within like media and the gaming industry for like the last, I don't know, like 2 years. I've been following it, and you can see the rise of like woke media taking over. And since Trump has took office, it has fell drastically. But in, you know, in the truth to that, you can see it forefront. It's right in your face. Like with that one game that Sony made, I forgot what it was, but like the characters were like absolutely ridiculously ugly. The women looked like dykes, and the men weren't even white. They made them look like aliens. And the only white dude that you could possibly call white was like some lizard alien. Like it's like absolute bullshit. But this is the kind of stuff that they push. And you know, as Charlie Kirk has said, it's mainly funneled by J donors and J elitists. And our boy right here, the McDonald's gentleman, he won't ever go really down far as to address it from the very core of where it's coming from. He'll only name a few individuals because they stand in his way of making money and probably a power struggle. But nevertheless, this is the truth, is that there is something going on. And, I'm aware of it if anybody's watching. But, some of these people on here, like Lion of Judah that we had on last week, for the last 3 months, we've been in deep private conversations with everybody. And, we done watched Europa, the last battle. I don't even think he finished it. He watched the communism section and then he did a whole 180. So he was praising the mushroom man, the mustache man, and then he did a 180 and started praising Lenin and Stalin and the Bolsheviks. I'm like, I don't know what was on his mentality, but he says he's bipolar, so it's just a phase. I think it's bullshit. But, in truth, that's what we see going on, is that, we done watched all this. So I'm aware of what's going on with the greatest story never told, Europa, Goy. I don't even want to say the name of the website, but I'm on there every now and then. I'm aware of, the rhetoric, the arguments that are at play. And, I would agree with some of them to a stance for the most part. And, there's a lot of weight and truth that's hold in those arguments, is that, these people at root are communists, and they're funneling communist principles into Western countries to tear them domestically from the inside out. Instead of a foreign invasion, this is a domestic invasion. And, in truth, this is prophecy foretelling. We've are aware of what's going on. They did it to the Roman Empire. They did it to the Ottoman Empire. They did it to Dutchland, if you want to refer to it as that. I'm not going to say it. They did it to the Tsar in Russia, and they did it to ancient Israel. This is nothing new. And now they're doing it to America. And I think they would have done it a lot sooner if the Soviet Union never fell, but it did. But even though the Soviet Union died off, those principles and their spy, we'll say invasion into other countries did not. And now we're seeing it 100% in full effect, because now they're assassinating, their political counterpart, where you have stuff like this now. And to be truthful, we're definitely probably going to be seeing more people, ending up like right here, our buddy Charlie Kirk. And, as more time comes, see, he would still be alive if he didn't go to campuses. I think if Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson did on-site, Tucker Carlson, let's say, he went to a college, I believe, they would try to take this man out of the game. And not to say that many of these people are opposition, like our buddy here, Richie from Boston. Not to say that many are not, because I believe that they are. That even though that's the case, their time has been paid. They have fulfilled their role. And just like the mob and over in New York or Chicago, when you're not a made man, you know what I'm saying? When you're not in the tribe, when you're not of their elitist group, and you're no longer of use, then there you go. That's your outcome. It doesn't get any more in your face than that. But covering the tribe. Let's go over here. Is it right here? Yeah. Updated. Israel kills 53 across Gaza as UNSC condemns attack on Qatar. So September 9th, 9th, they attacked U.S. ally and Israel ally Qatar. One of their Israel attacks continue across Gaza as regional leaders rally around Qatar after a deadly attack on Doha, which is, I believe, a city. Live updates. Arab states hold summit on Israeli Doha strike. Netanyahu discusses plans for voluntary immigration of Gazans starting next month. Well, I mean, like, how many do you even have left after, what they've been doing for like 2 years? Inside Israel's operation to kill Gaza leaders in Qatar. And I believe they just bombed something this morning. I had a pop up on X over here. Israel strikes in Yemen, kills 35 people, Houthis say. The Israel military says it hit military targets, but the Houthis say only civilian sites were targeted. Israel strikes in Qatar triggers rare U.S. rebuke, tests Trump's Gulf diplomacy. Israel's Netanyahu says there will be no Palestinian state. There will be no Palestinian state. Prime Minister signs plans cementing E1 settlement expansion. So I'm going to touch upon in another stream the greater Israel expansion. I kind of touched on it in a video briefly that I did, I believe 3 months ago. I don't even feel that long. With I was on Lion of Judah stream and we kind of discussed that. But I'm planning on doing another stream now that I actually have a PC set up. I was going to do it on my TV, but actually now I'm able to do this, from the comfort of a desk and a computer. So, that's a lot better. But I plan on, doing a breakdown of the goal, because I don't think a lot of people understand the goal of what Israel is working towards. And so, I'll kind of give you a diagram on what that entails. So these are my videos that I've been posting lately. Israel versus Syria. Red alert. Israel taking over Gaza. Greater Israel expansion. Israel annexing West Bank and Gaza. So their plan is to absolutely, wipe. If anybody hasn't noticed, too, I leave brief descriptions if you can't watch the full video for anybody that just wants to read, the news. I gotta do a weekly update this week regarding the news. Like I said earlier, there was a span of 2 weeks where there was barely anything going on, but now it's all popping off, which, around 9/11 isn't very, it's something that you would expect. But, in recent months, Israel has intensified efforts to annex significant portions of Gaza and the West Bank, signaling a shift towards formalizing its control over these territories. So we will have a unified Israel. No more Palestinians, no more Palestine is their end goal. With the backing of their man in the office, stabilizing support of weaponry and American tax dollar, and probably based off of blackmail from the Epstein files, their man who was probably Mossad blackmailing American politicians for a very long time. And they probably did that with other people as well. The mafia did that with a politician. So, that's not something that we haven't seen. But where am I looking for? And another thing, this is the end goal, the greater Israel. Hold on, before I go back. So we have a plot map right here. So let's go down. I'll give you, as I said, a diagram. So where we go. So if anybody can see that map, that red formation right here. Let me see if I can make it full screen. There you go. That might be a little bit bigger. But this red surface right here. So this is the end goal, is the greater Israel, from nearly half of Egypt into Syria and, Jordan, Iran, Iraq, and that region right here. Maybe not exactly this, but this is a good like gist of what they're probably looking for. And they're boosting up tensions to probably claim some more land, and they're doing it with Syria. They're using supposedly, like, I believe, Syrian Jews as a starter, kind of like what Putin did, as saying that there was Russians in Ukraine that were being mistreated, so he invaded the western portions to save them. I think that's what the gist on why they started their war with Syria. But the end game is probably land expansion, so we're going to be seeing what they're doing to Gaza. Eventually, Gaza is going to be a beach hut front, mirroring like Miami Beach tourist attraction. And as Trump has put on his Twitter, Twitter, I accidentally removed myself. Let's go full screen. We'll move full screen. He shared, I believe, last year on Twitter, this like AI like idea of what Gaza is going to look like after Trump gets involved. So, I mean, it may be a U.S. state, or it's probably going to be U.S. controlled semi, but it's going to be an Israel territory. So it's going to be a united Israel. They're going to have the whole entirety. No more West Bank, no more Hamas, no more Gaza, and a lot of dead blood on their hands. Something that that we can see. And what's funny is when I tell leftists this, they're like, "Oh, well, what if they don't win?" Well, I mean, like they're gonna achieve their goal, because they're halfway, nearly done doing it. So there's like what you guys are doing. I mean, there's not really too much. Like, I get the protest, but in reality, it's like retarded. So Trump, Gaza, AI. See what we could pull up right here. Okay, I got it right here. This is Trump's goal for 2025 Gaza. So the post reads, Trump just posted back in February this year. Trump just posted an AI video of the Gaza Strip and labeled it Trump Gaza. It includes, let me share my screen. Hold on. Where was I at? Right here. It includes footage of Trump dancing with women, Elon Musk eating, and gold statues of Trump. This is what the president is doing early in the morning. WTF. And this is the goal. This is gonna be Gaza in the near future. And so we have a time frame. All right. Yeah, so that is the end goal, is to build up and boost up Israel, where it's this monopoly to rival anything in the East and Asia and in the West. So they will be their own sovereign nation to the small amount of territory that they probably have readily available now. So it's a land grab, a mass land grab through war and conquest. And this is not something that we haven't seen before, but now it's taking place today. And you have all these people mad about colonialism and colonizers and stuff. Well, this is your modern day situation to that. And so, just to bring that in, let's see, what does the comment say? What's up, everybody? I think I already pinned that. Are you able to see tagged videos on YouTube, Jay? I mean, I'm on Discord, man. If you want to look up here, I'll put it in the chat. This is my Discord. I put it in the comments. You want to add me? I mean, you could probably send it there. I can view unlisted videos, but I don't have any link. I haven't seen anything that you tagged me in, and I really can't see anything as of lately. But this is my Discord, Wooey Baby for Life. If you want to add me, that is the Discord name. You'll it'll be like 2 liter Crippen, and then that'd be the name for my Discord. So if you want to check that out, send me that there, Dr. Von Goon. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, getting back to topic at hand. This is the end goal, is think of like America, but in the Middle East, in the center of it. So we'll have our greatest ally now boosted up: land, soldiers, crops, food, oil, all this metal and materials, gold, tourist attractions, and I guarantee you, once they have that, they're gonna finally bring in, because they're working on right now. They got a foundation over there. I got a few videos on it. Hold on, let me bring this up again. I got to bring up my channel. I accidentally closed it, but they're working on it right now. They have a foundation. I think it's called the Third Temple Foundation. But I just posted a video right now. Let me share this again. Just recently, they've been doing ceremonies regarding the red heifer and the Third Temple, Israel's Texas cows, and deceived Christians. So there's a lot of Christians, similar to Charlie Kirk, that would get behind this. You have to support Israel no matter what, because these are, chosen people from, the very get. So you've got to support them because Jesus was a Jew. And, Jesus loved, that's the idea. That's the idea. So, this is something that they're doing. This is not anything new, but, they've recently killed a decent portion of red cows, virgin cows, red heifers, adult virgin female cows, to usher in, their Messiah in the end times. And see if I could pull this up. And, this is the goal. So eventually, I think they're going to announce a Messiah, their king in waiting. And once their king in waiting is in power, see, in ancient Israel, the way that they dictated their kings is that you had to be born of the lineage of the house of David. You had to be of the Davidic bloodline. Well, the Jews claim now to be scattered today. So even if they wanted to make the dude a Messiah, he would be illegitimate. So how would you claim Davidic bloodline when you don't even know where the Judite tribe is today, or even who possesses the Davidic bloodline? So they'll still say, "Oh, it's based off of the statues and the stuff that this guy would do to receive status as Messiah, King, Savior to Israel, and build the Third Temple." But even if that's the case, there's still no way to legitimately claim that bloodline, because there is no. I mean, it's possibly today that it's still around, but there's no current heir to that bloodline known. So that's a faulty idea that I think flies over a lot of people's minds. And so to pull up a video where I said they have some of these videos that I have: Abrahamic family house, the holistic world of the Jewish Messiah, ushering in the new age of the new era. So over, I believe in I think it's in Israel, they have the faith house, the Abrahamic faith house, where it's like 3 cubic structures, as you can see from the thumbnail right there, and it's a Muslim Catholic and Jewish buildings where they both worship all in together. And keeping it short, this is the Trump Cyrus Temple coin of Israel's third temple. This is the foreshadowing of something big incoming from 10 months ago.
This is the mold. This is the original mold of the second Trump, Cyrus Trump coin.
So I've seen a lot of people say, is Trump the Antichrist? No, because they're blatantly telling you who Trump is to them. He's Cyrus, the Assyrian. He's not Jewish whatsoever. He may be awarded and practice Kabbalah from other videos that we've covered on this channel, but to save time, I'm not going to bring those up. You can come on the channel and look for those yourself. I got playlists and videos all on Trump, all on the Shabbat Lubavitch movement here in the United States, Rex Schneerson, and the underground tunnels.
To fulfill 70 years. The original verse to fulfill 70 years is when the Jews went out to exile, to the Babylonian exile. They were there for 70 years. And after 70 years, King Cyrus said, God, the Lord of the world, gave me permission to let you, the Jews, come back to the land of Israel. And look what he said. And he charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. And now, 70 years for the state of Israel, something happened again. One of the biggest leaders of the world, again, President Donald Trump. And here we see the seal of America. He again.
You see the seal of America too is also at like the. Look at the dollar. There's a Star of David on it.
Recognized Jerusalem as the capital.
All right, but yes, this is the cake. They are building a third temple. And if I'm not going to say who they are, but you can tell by these titles who I actually think they are. By this word, and so you get the argument that I am making. So this is in the making. They're building this. They have a foundation dedicated to this. This is a tour that Round Saturn's Eye RSE went to, and they do this. This guy is in a couple other videos. You can go there right now and do a tour of the site where they want to build the third temple. But see, the thing is, where they want to build the third temple, the Dome of the Rock sits a Islamic mosque. So they're you can probably guess what they're gonna do with that. Once they take over. I believe it's in the West Bank, but I could be wrong on the very exact location. But this is the longevity that they've been waiting for. And I said I'm not gonna bring in the whole Greater Israel expansion. I do want to save that for another video. But I think as the Davidic bloodline, being maybe alive today, but not widely known about, and no way to even verify who has that blood because there's no known living heir. This is another thing I think a lot of people don't realize. So this is a proposed canal that Israel was going to build, and I believe they're still going to do it, but they need the land, and Gaza kind of lies right in the middle of let's bring that up as well. Where did I type that in at? Right there. Let's bring up a map of the Middle East. So, they're supposedly pitched this idea. They never really executed it, but I believe it's still, on the nose of something that, they still plan on doing. Map of Middle East. If you give me a second, I can pull this up. There you go. I'll make this bigger. All right, here we go. Right here. So the Ben Gurion Canal is a conceptual and constructed project to create an alternative shipping route to the Suez Canal, which is in Egypt, running through Israel's Negev desert. While it has been discussed for decades, it remains a theoretical proposal and not has advanced to the construction phase. So, proposed route: the canal would connect to the Gulf of Aqaba near Israel's port city of Eilat to the Mediterranean Sea near Ashkelon by crossing through the Araba Valley and Negev Desert. Plans envision a canal with 2 lanes allowing for a two-way traffic and a wider, deeper design than the Suez Canal to accommodate larger vessels. So, instead of going through the Suez Canal, decline. So instead of going through the Suez Canal in Egypt, I believe personally, so you have Israel, and then you have this little stribble of water right here of the Red Sea. So what lies in the middle of the Red Sea? So you got this border territory right here, and I believe they're going to build it straight up to where my arrow is going into the Mediterranean nearby Cyprus. So you would have vessels coming from the Arabian into the Red Sea by the Gulf of Aden. And instead of going west into the Red Sea, you can probably pay maybe a cheaper route and probably, cheaper taxes. They'll probably have some kind of like beneficiary thing for, vessels passing by. But they'll probably have better deals because, that instead of the Egyptians, and then you could take the alternative route to the east instead of the west, and go straight into the Mediterranean. And if you're delivering also to like these countries, then Israel would be the right destination to go into. So we have a proposed map: Beach Hut, Miami front, former Gaza area, Unified West Bank, Third Temple area, no more Muslim mosque, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, maybe Qatar, maybe parts of Iran, but you have this probably proposed map of a greater Israel. And this is not too far-fetched because this is something that, they sent IDF foot soldiers in Iran. They were bombing Iran. They're bombing Syria. They're, trying to, I guess, occupy Syria. They took parts of Syria right here in the northern portions near Lebanon. Bombed Qatar, Doha, Yemen, which is over here towards northern Africa, where all the Arabians are still. But I mean, we can see, it doesn't take two and two. It doesn't take one to put 2 and 2 together to see the proposed idea of what is possibly happening. And other people can deny this, but I believe it's straight to the facts. I believe what I'm saying is not maybe 100% accurate, but damn near. This is definitely a proposed map that would hold water in a political conference on foreign relations and intelligence. You said you sent it. I sent you it, Jay. All right. Let me see what it is. Hold on. Give me a moment. I gotta go to Discord. I turned off all notifications. I joined some servers, and all they do is like spam and shit. So, yeah. Rad Brad. What's up, Rad Brad? A wave to you, man, Dr. Von Goon. If you are Rad Brad, what is good? But yeah, for the most part, 9/11. I just want to, since it's already passed, 9/11 is the real Christmas. We covered it last night. Well, towards the end of the stream, it's a 4-hour, 6-minute stream. Exactly. Oh wow, 6 minutes. But if you haven't seen my recent posts, 9/11 is the real Christmas. Jesus was born on September 11th. this is a theology that's been way before the Twin Towers. It's a specific date where, you know, the heavenly body constellations align astronomically and physically in the world. You know, the above mirrors the bottom. If you could say as above, so below, you know, that's a good indication for that right there. But I'm not going to say that because I'm not a Satanist like people say. But, you know, they've muddied the water. They ruined the day of Christ. They continue to ruin it with, you know, rhetoric such as Charlie Kirk, and, you know, war, further diluting, you know, the wonderful creation that is Jesus Christ, the last true of the Davidic bloodlines. Really the only one that can still lay claim to, you know, that bloodline as a king in waiting. And this is from a Discord server earlier. I thought this was hilarious. So I called this broad stupid, and she goes, "I'm not stupid." I said, "You couldn't even tell the difference between a bee and a wasp. All of my one-liners fly right over your and your husband's head." And then I moved on to another conversation. This guy asked me what I believe in. I said, "I'm Islamic." I'm actually not Islamic. From the Nation of Islam. And then she says, "How are you Islamic if you live in the U.S.? And then, you know, exactly the previous conversation, this right here speaks for itself. Retardation. And, you know, that's the truth, because we're seeing it more often with, you know, the modern generation. I'm the last of a dying breed. Everybody my age is absolutely stupendous and special. And, you know, hell, that's definitely the truth. But yeah, Jesus was born on 9/11. You can watch these videos. They're really good for a rundown. If you don't understand, I did a breakdown of it myself last night. Let me go to the video. I'll skim through. Let's see. When do I start? I started at time frame. You could probably watch from, like, let's say 2:25, somewhere around there, and then you'll get like where I'm you know, discussing the topic from. I don't know if you want to see that vid on stream, but I sent you something for possible interest. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to take a brief break to watch this. So in turn, here's a video I created with Alex Jones and my fireplace. It's called "This Is My Mind 70% of the Time."
This is what the New World Order said they would do is coming true. They're going to carry out the forced depopulation of 90% of us, and their time frame is 2030, and they have their surrogates all over the news telling us that it's the end of the world as we know it, and that it's our fault that all the systems are breaking down, while they deliberately go down the line, turning the civilization infrastructure off in front of us. And everything else flows downstream from that. But that's the fount of it. BlackRock with $15 trillion in liquid assets. They've got quadrillions leveraged, and they control almost every major CEO, almost every major pension fund. And they get up on TV and say, we're going to control every aspect of your life. We're going to break your families up. We're going to make you eat bugs, and we're going to, you know, do all of this. And it's their policies that can destroy any company they want that doesn't get in line.
I know they stage those terror attacks. You know what it's like to gut up to this and go out every day and go past the peer pressure and come out day one and say 9/11 was an inside job and lose most of the radio stations I was on. You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day. You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life. You know what it's like, you sons of bitches. I'm tired of your crap. You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against against you, and the Republic is going to defeat you in the end. Some of us won't make it personally through this, but a lot of us are. And in the end, you are going to be brought to justice. You want to fight? Better believe you've got one. You want to enslave my spirit? No! And I'll call on God to protect me and use me however God sees fit. And if I've destroyed my whole family with it, I don't blame God. I blame the stinking trash who will pay. These Nazi blood-sucking anti-American parasites that want to make you and your family slaves know that we are standing up against them, and we are red-blooded, and we are not slaves, and we are not bowing down to them. Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Get that through your goddamn fucking head. Stop pushing your shit. You're the people that have fucked this country over and gang raped the shit out of it, so stop shooting your mouth off claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch? I'll eat your ass. I'll do it. I will eat your ass.
All right, yo. So I watched the video. None of them threats that Sean has said will even hold up in court. There's no way that he can claim property of stuff like a video game. And if you don't own a house or anything of of value, there's really no way that he can like claim ownership over that in a court. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I believe I've covered everything that I want to discuss here. But for the most part, I think I got my point across. So I am going to open up the panel. I've been on for about an hour. That's probably as much as I need. So if anybody wants to join, I'm probably going to go for about maybe 20, 30, 25 more minutes. And if you got any questions or anything to bring to the discussion, there's a link in the chat, and I'll let you on. I'm live on 3 channels right now: Sack Truth 2, 1, and Inner City Poet. So whoever's watching from any of those, there's a link in the chat. Feel free to click that. Where's the link? Just posted it. Vagata or Vig Oda. What is popping? What is happening? Do not want to ruin the vibe of your show. Yeah, I mean, this is unexpected, man. I plan on doing more of these, because like every now and then I'll have like a video planned, and I'll just like record myself talking, which I still plan on doing. But now that I actually have a computer, I can do presentations such as the one I did tonight with more accuracy and the multiple windows that I can pull up instead of like whipping out my TV and recording it. And I think that's I probably still do that, but not so often. Only when some probably catches my eye. But there, there's a link if anybody wants to join it. If anybody doesn't join in, let's say, the next 5 minutes, we'll call it a show there. How about that? So, for the most part, that is the show. And I'm going to cut this later as the video streamed last night with the presentation I did and put them into a long-form content video. Let me read this comment before I let this on. Also, real talk, what's your thoughts on Prodigy from Mobb Deep? Well, I'm a flat earther, and Prodigy is a flat earther. So, he must have, knowledge as a truther. And, I got to respect that. But he's also dead, so RIP Prodigy. But I like Prodigy. Let me pull up a overlay. Let's see what I have. There we go.
Hello.
Yo, how's
Okay, good afternoon.
good afternoon?
Well,
Well, it's
bro.
nighttime here. How's it going?
Well, in here it's 12 afternoon.
It's 2:24 a.m. where I'm located.
Where are you located, buddy?
I'm channel's called Sacramento, so it's Sacramento Truth Movement, California.
Okay, California, huh? Nice. I am very far from you, that's for sure.
For sure. So you got anything, any questions or anything to add to the conversation?
What is the conversation about? I see other symbols of. I see a symbol of mine. At least one of them.
Come again?
I said I see. I said that I see on the screen a symbol of mine, or at least the ethnic group that.
You're kind of choppy, man. You're coming in and out. It's like staticky, robotic-y.
Do you hear me now, bro?
Slightly, yeah. It's slightly better.
Yeah, I said you have. I said you have the Star of David, the symbol of my ethnic group.
You're Jewish?
Yeah, I'm from Israel. I am right now
Nice.
speaking to you from Israel, buddy.
What city?
I can't tell you this. I'm not going to tell you the city, but it's close to Tel Aviv overall. It's
Okay.
inside the Gush Dan area, if that's tell you something.
And how is that there?
Now it's okay. It's in another few hours the subway the subway will start. But besides that, okay. It's there's a lot of heat. The weather is very warm here, like California in some degree.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I would say it's probably similar climate along,
Yeah, probably.
coast area. But let me reply to this comment right here. Do you identify as a white supremacist? A white supremacist. I've been
No.
seeing you post about black men dodging the justice system. I mean, I post about everybody. Don't really take that into
You tell me what?
context. But no, I am white myself, but I would say I'm mixed race. So my mother is white and Mexican, but my father is Native American, Jewish, and white, which is probably like like British or English or something of that context.
How
So
much
that's my
percentage?
ethnic background.
Okay, how much percentage do you have? How much Jewish percentage? Percentage?
I do not know. I am unaware of that. My father's mother's father was Jewish, and he was married to a German woman, and then my dad's dad was Cherokee Indian, and they married white women. Oh no, he left. But yeah, that's my ethnic background. If Saint Vic um, was curious, yeah, no, I am not a white supremacist. I would say, I would have similar beliefs on like right wing kind of shit, but I am not a white supremacist. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's kind of evident that from like I see you backstage, but let me mirror myself. From I think it's pretty evident that I'm like as Lion of Judah says, I am blacker than he is. From all the rap music that I've been posting over, I don't know, the last 10 years, that I'm very far from a white supremacist.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a connection problem.
That is fine.
Yeah, I see
How'd you
that,
find this
you have
channel?
somebody that is saying stuff. You asked
How'd you
something?
find this channel?
Honestly, I was just looking around, passing from place to place, moving, you know, person, another person hits another person, and that's how I'm eventually got into your channel. I think I got maybe I saw you post a comment on somebody else's channel or something.
Possibly. I'm on multiple
Yeah,
different.
probably we know a few people that are probably
I'm
we
on
have some people
YouTube
that-
all day long for the most part.
So somebody I see in the chat ask if I'm a racist or you're a racist or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not. You?
No. I mean, define racism, but then also uh, logistically, no. Prejudice, I would say yes, but I mean that's probably everybody for the most part.
Prejudice to who?
Well, I mean, that is that really is like down that's not a very specific question to ask. Briefly, a way that I could probably answer that is the title that I put on one of my news clippings the other day: "Ghetto Fabulous." I don't like ghetto fabulous people. I don't like dirty people. You know what I'm saying? So like of a certain people like that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Right.
So what do you think about the what his name? The forgot his name. The politician that died yesterday. That passed
Oh, I
away
was just
from.
talking about him. Charlie Kirk died.
Yes, him too.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I really don't know. I mean, he was an avid supporter of guns, and he died by the hand of something that he's been supporting. But I think eventually this is it's a way to usher in stricter gun control, because this is the face, I would say, of it all. But as of this whole week, there's been multiple shootings across the United States and like stabbings, like that Ukrainian girl that was killed on that train.
Yeah,
And if you watch that video, it's like pretty sad.
everybody watched it.
There's a lot going on.
That's very sad.
Teresa Clarity, like daughtery. Why is he at McDonald's? Who is talking? Me, I'm talking. 2 Liter J, Sacramento Truth Movement. Talking, LOL. Who is walking? Oh, I didn't see that. I'm talking. Somebody by the name of Vagoda is talking. From Israel.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, I think they were, whoever did that was planning that for a while.
yeah, probably. And something for certain, the liberals that they are talking against him are going to get it now. And just
Probably. They arrested some old man yesterday, but now the FBI has a surveillance of this like white dude, I believe, or it looks Hispanic in like shades, and he's like a lead suspect right now, and they're looking for him. I don't know what
Hispanic,
is going to entail from here, but that is something we'll wait to see. But it's funny that all this is falling down on the day of and the day before and after 9/11, because like religiously, I worship, or not worship, but I celebrate the birth of Christ on 9/11.
Why is that?
Why is that? That's just I would say what meets the criteria most for a pinpoint specific date of 9/11 as a specific date of him being born. Like you can look it up. Like historically, Bible scholars have perpetuated that Jesus was born between October or September in like the autumn area. And so far, I believe it's 9/11. It's a running theology that's been around before, the fall of the towers. But I think it kind of received a lot more headline after the attack than beforehand.
Well, I don't celebrate it. I don't celebrate his birth anyway.
Well, yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're in, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but if you're in Israel, I have a friend who's Jewish. His son has taken trips to Israel through the birthright program. He's tried. His dad, no, not his dad, but the older gentleman has. Say again.
You're referring to Taglit.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But his name is David, and he has said to me that Christianity is a growing religion in Israel. Is that true?
No.
No?
Maybe,
okay, I would assume so.
Maybe in the north you have some people who have some. Well, no. You have a small Christian population. The only way that this stuff can technically be true, if you consider the people that have Jewish descent that are now, that some of them, that's a small part of them are coming right now from Ukraine or making aliyah for Russia. And then if you consider them Christian, then yeah. But besides those, and still those guys that are Christians, their numbers is small, then no. Just a second. Just a second.
Teresa says it's not going to matter soon. Inside job. Best truth channel yet. Appreciate that.
I have a question for you. The guy that you said that visited Israel, where exactly he visited?
I have no clue. He said his son visited. I'm not too sure. Okay, he has actually tried to have me sign up for this program because he says they do it until like you're 26, but then he said they boosted it till you're 32. But I don't know if that's true. But he says put in something online and then reach out to people called the Hilltop. I don't know who they are or like what the gist is, but I don't know if I would be able to do that. But yeah, he said his son visited. He sent me pictures of his son. His name's David.
Okay. Where exactly took pictures of?
I believe the Red Sea. That's one that he had.
Yeah.
So somewhere along, I guess, that coast. I'm not too sure.
Massage.
Come again?
The sea is a good place to get a massage and to get special treatment for the face. In terms of how I explain it to you. Mud special treatment in the face with special mud from the Dead Sea.
Can you say that again? You're like kind of robotic. Like it's like static.
I said there is a treatment next to the Dead Sea of which mud that do.
Oh, he fell out. His connection is not great. But if he doesn't come back, we'll drop it from there. We'll give him like 3 minutes. But you look familiar, Teresa. Have I seen you before? You look very familiar. There he is. Hello?
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me? He might got to come back.
Do you hear me? Hello? Okay, if you about what I said, there is a special place next to the Dead Sea that you can get massages and a special how I explain to you, some special madding that you put in on the face. It's like it goes with the massage. Get me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now, bro.
Okay, great.
I really have a connection problem with this phone. God damn it. In any case, you have more questions or something?
No, I would say I'm pretty well wrapped up with stuff regarding questions.
Okay, you know what? I have a question. How is it for Jews to live in California?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, man, I live every day as just a regular American. I don't have any family that's religious and any kind of religious status at all. And mostly I'm kept to myself, but I would probably fall more in line as a Christian religion than a Jew or anything else for the most part. Um, I've met a few Jews out and about, like at the train station or somewhere. But for the most part, I really don't know. Good, I guess. I don't really know how to answer that. I'm not surrounded by like religious or ethnic Jewish people for the most part. Mostly like
Most of the
white
Jews in
people
Israel are
and
not
a
such
lot of
an
Mexicans.
What?
I said I'm mostly surrounded by a lot of white people and Mexican origin.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that, most of the Jews in Israel are not religious. The majority, crushing majority, you can say, is not religious, not atheist, but not religious, definitely, and maybe you can say
Secular. The
traditional,
secular
secular.
Jews.
That's the word. Secular and traditionalist. Those two groups are the overwhelming majority, the Jewish majority here.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would assume so from what I've heard.
yeah. Well, this country was built from. I forgot the word again that you said. You can remind. You can say it again,
Yeah, I can
please.
hear you.
No, not can. The the word that you said. The word that you said before, not a religious,
Secular.
but yeah, secular. I'm terrible with that word. Yeah, the Israel itself was created but non-religious, by non-religious Jews in the first start. So, that is not a shock anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. About Charlie, it's a shame. It's really a shame. He didn't deserve this. And we lost, and of course, in here, a lot of some people are mourning for him because, first of all, he didn't deserve this. He was a supporter of us, and we
Yeah,
literally
I'm
lost a
aware.
friend. We lost a
I
friend.
mentioned that earlier.
Hmm?
I said yes. I'm aware that he's a supporter. I mentioned that
Yeah,
earlier.
he was good to us. Shame.
Right.
Yeah. Say there is you said something about there is footages of people of somebody being arrested. There is something about what's the background of the person that was arrested on his death or on the death of Charlie, or about his identity or anything.
Yeah. So they dragged out an old man yesterday. They said he was the possible shooter, But I think earlier this morning they released what looked like surveillance footage of what they said as a supposed suspect at large. So I'm assuming that's possibly the man, but then you never really know.
I
We are
was not a
asking
bit.
for the public's help identifying this person in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at the Utah University. So I'm like, I don't know. It looks like he's like
I don't know
40
about
or
you, but
something.
if
Hat and shades.
I don't know about you, bro, but if this guy is a part of the African Americans, then that's definitely going to make a lot of problems for them, especially after the stuff with the Ukrainian woman.
No, this guy doesn't look black, but he looks like maybe possibly like Persian or some kind of Hispanic.
He's a
Looking at
Muslim.
him now, yeah, possibly, maybe.
The religion of peace. Ay, ay. You know. Say,
Distractions.
what do you think? What do you have to say about the war that we have almost 2 years right now?
It's a conquest. I mean, for the most part, I would say that's what it seems like.
So you're saying we are conquering Gaza?
I mean, that's what it looks like. Yeah, for the most part. I mean, but I mean, that's just. I would assume if any kind of situation played out any other kind of way, that would be the outcome. And I think eventually, with I believe the annexation of the West Bank as a possibility
Judea
on the
and
table.
Samaria, bro. Judea and
And,
Samaria, not West Bank. That's the
Say
name.
again?
That's the name, not West
What
Bank.
is the name? West Bank?
Judea and Samaria.
Judea and Samaria. Okay. Well, whatever would qualify where the Palestinians live in, the east. I
Bro,
would say.
after what they did, they need to pay. Let me tell you a little story.
Go
When
ahead.
on the 7th of October, my cousin was in the south that day. She was in the Nova Party. You know what is the Nova Party?
Say again?
My cousin was in the Nova Party on the 7th of October.
Okay.
You know what is the Nova Party?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, it was like a festival in the south at the 7th of October, and the Hamas some of the Hamas raided the party, and a lot of people that in that party were slain alive. A lot of women were raped horribly, and of course I'm not going to go to details. I don't want to cause harm to your channel. And a lot of people from that party were abducted by the Hamas and paraded in chains in the city of Gaza.
Yes, I'm aware. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and some of those people that were abducted that day are still in captivity.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my cousin was in the Nova Party. She's one of the people that managed to get out of there alive.
That's a terrible situation.
Yeah. So what I remember the day this stuff was, that's horrible to see people, to see women being chained in Gaza, and they make them from their pants. And by the way, there's videos of what I'm right now just telling you.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm aware of the situation. Yeah. I'm not sympathetic for the Arabs. I really can care less. I'm just saying that it's definitely a mission of conquest. So I'm saying if it played out any other way, I believe this would be the outcome that we would see fit, is Israel annexing land through
Yeah,
conquest.
well, we need to get rid of that population. You know, the population is the source of the problem. خلاص,
I dropped. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, I believe that is a situation. If it played out any other way, I did a video just now discussing, the possible siege and conquest and invasion of land. And so, we're seeing that. And oh, there he is. But that's the truth. I would say so.
yeah,
Hello?
but you know about the conquest. I think the term cleaning Gaza will be more accurate. We are making sure that the population will not be able to live there anymore. After what they did, and in general, all the sick stuff that we heard that they did to the hostages, they literally enslaved the female hostages and the old hostages male. Okay,
Right.
that's not what I'm saying. That's what the hostages told us. And
Okay.
the civilian Gazans took part of the enslavement. They attacked in 7th of October inside Gaza. They also, a lot of civilian Gazans joined the attacks on the 7th of October. They abducted a lot of hostages from their villages. Okay, for example, the Bibas family?
No.
You don't know Shiri Bibas? You never heard about her?
No.
Okay, go check later who is the Bibas family. Shiri Bibas with her 2 babies were abducted by Gazan civilians, for example. And in general, you know what? Let me give you some stuff that specific hostages said. For example, Arbel Yahud, she specifically said that the Gazan civilians, before they entered Gaza, lynched her and her boyfriend. Lynched her and Ariel, in other words. Okay? And also another hostage, big famous hostage named Eli Sharabi, also said that the Gazans, including a lot of Gazan children, when he was paraded in Gaza, attacked him with metal pipes and whatever they could get their hands on. And also when they kept him underground, ground in some building, the people that were keeping him were afraid that the local population will know that they have a hostage, because then they will try to storm the place and slay him. I can give you a lot of examples of the barbarity and the disgust from the Gazan population. And after all the stuff that we saw them do during the 7th of October and of course after, if there was really justice, then all of them should get a bullet in the head. But that's we can do. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of them. Out they go. There's enough Arab countries for them. Out they go. We have enough. They're not going to abuse us anymore. Maybe some of your viewers will like some kind of monster, or that's their problem.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you, but I mean that's any kind of situation to war is always a retaliation. But I mean, there is a conquest in land. I mean, the Muslims did it like 2,000 years ago. For example, the Banu Qurayza from the Quran. The Muslims invaded a Jewish tribe that was once in Medina through. Even though they were allied with the Muslims during the invasion, Muhammad and the jihadists, I believe, I forgot what they're called, but they went from Medina into this neighboring tribe before they seized their women and land. And was it 800, or I believe it was 800, and they beheaded 80,000 men, or not 80,000, 800 men, I believe, from the fortress or the city that they were trying to invade. Where do I got it right here? The Banu Qurayza, a Jewish tribe that once lived in Medina, though allied with the Muslims and even lent them equipment to dig the trench during the Battle of the Trench, refused to fight in the battle as they were offended by Muhammad's attack on Jews. Al-Waqidi states that Muhammad had a treaty with the tribe which was torn up by them, and Watt believed that the existence of such a treaty was doubtful, though Watt believes that Banu Qurayza had agreed not to assist Muhammad's enemies. Let me see. According to Muslim tradition, he had been ordered to invade, so by God, where's the exact decision to terminate alliance, decision to attack, siege of Banu Qurayza. Did he leave? Oh, he's backstage. Let's see, where's the
connection? I need to go anyway to do some stuff before the Sabbath, but in any case, you know, like, well, you know what? If you think, you know, I want to remind you and your viewers about one little bit important thing. Next, I want to remind you all about a little important thing that we forgot to mention.
what's that?
You know, in ancient times, Gaza was under the was a territory of the kingdom of the Judah under the. I'm talking after that. I'm talking after the Philistine vanished. You know the time we know. You know, after we broke away from the Greeks. Okay, you had the Hasmonean. We call it the Hashmonaim hill, but probably in English you call it the Hasmonean dynasty of Judea. You can look at the wiki if you don't believe me. And in the height of that of the Hasmonean dynasty, the kingdom of Judea had modern-day Gaza under its control. Okay, so we have a historic claim to the city of Gaza in that case. So we are talking what is rightfully ours, in other words.
Well, I mean, speaking as to that, I mean, the majority of where else the Palestinians are can be up for that argument as well.
What?
I said, speaking of, you know, that kind of like output or input, you can say the same thing regarding where all the other Palestinians are as well, you know, towards
no, there was never, no, you can't, with all due respect, there was never a Palestinian kingdom or a country or whatever.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the Jews can lay claim to where all the other Palestinians are right now. So if you're saying that the Jews can lay claim to the land of Gaza, then they can lay claim to where all the other Palestinians are now.
Yeah, in any case, bro, I need to go, so I will talk to you another time.
All right.
So have a wonderful weekend.
All right, you as well.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Ciao.
Mm-hmm. All right, alrighty. I have a link in the comments if anybody else wants to join. We're going nearly on 2 hours. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Yeah. So if anybody doesn't join in the next 3 minutes, I'm gonna call it from there, and I will close it out from then. Oh, he's still on panel. He said he's taking off, so I will remove him backstage. And there I am. Well, not there I am, but you know, nearly there I am. Let me see. Can I get a picture of myself? Let's. I'm not logged into Twitter on this account. Let me go look. There I am. Save image as 2liter dot some random shit. We'll save that. Oh, that's weird. It's not letting me save my own image. Let's cancel. Let's go back. Let's come back. There we go. Let me save it. All right, let's go over to StreamYard. We'll go to my layout. Oh, yeah, he did leave. Okay. He seems like a good fella. Let's go desktop. There I am. There we go. Now everything is back to normal. All right. 2-liter J, Sacramento Truth Movement. It's who we are. If anybody wants to join, the link is open for that. Probably wait, let's say 2 more minutes. If we don't see anybody, I'll be closing out with a closing statement. But let's go backtrack to some of this. This broad right here, this kind lady, Teresa Claudery, like Daughtery, like Jeffrey Daughtery, a douche. But Teresa, not calling you a douche, but Claudery, like Daughtery. If these were real UAPs, then they would have made contact already. Well, I believe they eventually will make contact by sometime in the very far future. Because these are the chariots of the Most High God. These are biblical presentation in real time. Hilltops, their gang. It's not going to matter. Yo, peace, Jay. I'm going to get some sleep. Yo, peace, man. Take care. Best truther channel yet. Yeah, I would say so. Need the recognition from the larger truther community, but a lot of them are self-centered and narcissistic, like Richie from Boston and Zach K. Hubbard and many other names as well. We've been on that train track before. But yeah, so nobody's joining. I'm going to call the show here. I may be back tomorrow, more than likely around the same time frame. But more or less, this is a good video. Interesting that we had somebody join from Israel while we're talking about Israel and Charlie Kirk. Perfect timing, definitely perfect timing. But definitely will be back soon. Very, very soon. This is 2-liter J. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was edifying. I hope you found appreciation. Maybe appreciation may be the wrong word, but edification. There we go. Edification from the content and discussion that was presented here and shown at hand. More coming. Definitely more coming. This is the Sacramento Truth Movement. My name is 2-liter J. Gonna be back with some more videos pretty soon. Merch store coming soon. I'm gonna be opening my Discord once again. And for the most part, if you want to donate, Cash App is really the only thing that I have right now. Cash App, STM Truth. Somebody recommended setting up a GoFundMe. I don't know if I will. I'll probably just make a merch store where people can actually get something and receive it instead of just giving me money. I feel kind of like terrible for that. I don't really ever get donations, so don't think I'm making a lot of money. I am as the banner says, heavily shadow banned. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. We're heavily shadow banned over here, so all help is appreciated. Thank you. I still do this even though I don't really receive too much views. As I said earlier, if big truthers, actually took the nerve to share the small content creators of in the youth, because remember I started this when I was 20. I'm 25 now, and imagine if I had the help then. We'd be hitting numbers, but I got 4 viewers, so, probably across 3 different channels. So it is what it is. You got to take it or leave it. For the most part, share this with your friends and family. I hope you find this edifying and necessarily awesome. And I'm gonna be closing out right here with this Alex Jones clipping with my fireplace. And have a good night. See you very soon. Sacramento Truth Movement 2 Leader J. I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and salutations. Take care, everybody.
This is what the New World Order said they would do is coming true. They're going to carry out the forced depopulation of 90% of us, and their time frame is 2030, and they have their surrogates all over the news telling us that it's the end of the world as we know it, and that it's our fault that all the systems are breaking down, while they deliberately go down the line, turning the civilization infrastructure off in front of us. And everything else flows downstream from that. But that's the fount of it. BlackRock with $15 trillion in liquid assets. They've got quadrillions leveraged, and they control almost every major CEO, almost every major pension fund. And they get up on TV and say, we're going to control every aspect of your life. We're going to break your families up. We're going to make you eat bugs. And we're going to, do all of this. And it's their policies that can destroy any company they want that doesn't get in line.
I know they staged those terror attacks. You know what it's like to gut up to this and go out every day and go past the peer pressure and come out day one and say 9/11 was an inside job and lose most of the radio stations I was on. You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day. You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life. You know what it's like, you sons of bitches. I'm tired of your crap. You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end. Some of us won't make it personally through this, but a lot of us are. And in the end, you are going to be brought to justice.
You want to fight? Better believe you've got one. You want to enslave my spirit? No! And I'll call on God to protect me and use me however God sees fit. And if I've destroyed my whole family with it, I don't blame God. I blame the stinking trash who will pay. These Nazi blood-sucking anti-American parasites that want to make you and your family slaves know that we are standing up against them, and we are red-blooded, and we are not slaves, and we are not bowing down to them. Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Get that through your goddamn fucking head. Stop pushing your shit. You're the people that have fucked this country over and gang raped the shit out of it, so stop shooting your mouth off claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch? I'll eat your ass. I'll do it. I will eat your ass.
These blood-sucking American parasites are watching me. You know what I'm saying? Mossad is here on YouTube, and they're aware of me, and we just witnessed it full in length at hand. I am not suicidal, if anybody's wondering that. And yeah, so putting that on the record. Good night.